Hi everyone, I'm just setting up. Of course it's not working now. There we go, I think that's fine. Hi everyone. So it's 3:30 and it's time for story time and craft time with me, Kayla. And this is what we're going to read today. It's called The Girl with a Brave Heart, a tale from Tehran. And it is my absolute favorite story of all time. And I only got it a few years ago. I was at a teacher's conference and somebody told me about the story, and it just had me sold so quick because it's such a beautiful story. And if you are having a happy day today, I want you to give me 2 thumbs up in the comments. If you're feeling kind of meh or blah, give me a thumbs up and a thumbs down. And if you're having a terrible day, you're sad, you're miserable, you're angry or frustrated, give me 2 thumbs down in the comments. I sure hope this will turn your frown upside down though. I know this is a really weird time and you probably miss your friends and your family outside of your home, but we are going to all get through this and be strong and be brave, because being at home right now means that you're helping other people, whether you realize it or not. You're doing a really great thing. So let's get started on this book, and when we're done, we're actually going to do a craft, and I'll show you right now what you'll need. So you can send your parents to go get your craft things. You'll need either a paper towel tube or a toilet paper tube, some string or yarn and scissors, a toothpick. You could use a pen cap if you want. And what we're going to make is essentially something like this. It's called a knitting loom. But we're just going to make a smaller version with stuff we have around the house. So if you want to get that now, I'll start reading. Get comfortable because it is a bit of a longer book. It's a really good one. I'm just going to check and make sure that the live is working right now. Okay, awesome. We're on track. Hello everyone who's joined me. I am so happy you're here. And I'm really going to try hard not to cry because this book is a little bit emotional. So it's called The Girl with a Brave Heart, a tale from Tehran. Tehran is in Iran. It's the capital city, I believe. And it's written by Rita, Jahanforuz, and illustrated by Vali, Mintzi. It's a barefoot book, and you can get it on kinderbooks.ca. It's spelled the same way as Kinderbooks. Okay. On a quiet street in the city of Tehran lived a little girl called Shiraz. Shiraz's mother had died when Shiraz was born, and soon afterwards her father married again. His new wife had a daughter of her own, the same age as Shiraz. Her name was Monir, and the 2 girls grew up like sisters. At first, all went well. The family lived happily together, and Shiraz's stepmother treated her kindly. Then Shiraz's father died. Everything changed overnight. Without your father, bringing home money every week, we cannot afford a maid, said the stepmother. We need to save money. Shiraz, from now on, I'd like you to do the housework. Shiraz no longer had time to see her friends or play outside. Instead, she spent her days cooking and cleaning, washing and ironing. She missed her father terribly, but she knew she could not bring him back. I know it's a sad start to the story, but it gets better, kind of like Cinderella. Here's the picture for this one. This story starts one autumn day when Shiraz had finished all her chores. She had cleaned the house and washed and ironed the clothes. Whenever she had a little time to herself, Shiraz liked to go and sit on the balcony at the top of the house. On her knees she lay a ball of wool she had found among the few things that her mother had left her. She settled down to knit herself a winter sweater when, all of a sudden, a gust of wind blew the ball of wool off her lap and tossed it far beyond the balcony. So that wool is very important to her because it was left by her mother. Shiraz leapt up and clung to the railing. She looked all around her, straining to see where the wind had thrown her ball of wool. And at last she saw it, caught in the branches of a rose bush in one of her neighbor's courtyards. "That's my mother's wool," Shiraz said to herself. "I must go and get it." Shiraz shivered, and not just because she was cold. She studied the path from her home to the strange garden and set off to ask for her ball of wool back. She knocked loudly on her neighbor's front door. Knock, knock, knock. She waited, but there was no answer. She knocked again. After a long time, a small window in the top of the door opened just a slit, and a pair of eyes stared down at her. You can see that right there in the door. "What do you want?" asked the old lady's voice. "Hello, my name is Shiraz. Please excuse me," Shiraz said nervously. "My ball of wool has fallen from our balcony into your garden. Please, could I have it back?" The eyes looked Shiraz up and down suspiciously. "I will give you your wool, but on one condition," the old lady said. "You must do a few chores for me, jobs I cannot manage on my own. Then you will get your ball of wool back." "That would be a pleasure," Shiraz replied. She was used to hard work, and all she wanted was to have her mother's wool. She can't catch a break, so many chores. The door creaked open, and an old lady with wild and dirty long hair appeared. She hadn't washed her face. Her dress was filthy, and her nails were long and curved. Shiraz's heart beat fast. She wanted to run away, but she stayed where she was. "This old lady has kind eyes," Shiraz said to herself. "She looks scary, but I expect she has just forgotten how to look after herself properly." "Are you coming in or not?" asked the old lady impatiently. Shiraz stepped slowly inside. She could not believe how dirty and smelly the house was. The old lady showed her the way to the kitchen. Plates, cups, pots, and pans, all crusty with moldy leftovers, were piled high in the sink. The old lady gave Shiraz a heavy hammer. "I want you to smash all the dishes, and the draining board, and the sink. Smash everything," she said. Then she left. Shiraz took a look around and put the hammer down on a stool in the corner. What is she going to do instead, I wonder? Then she set to work. She washed all the dishes, she scrubbed the sink, and she mopped the floor. Then she filled a pot of water, lit the fire, and prepared soup with some vegetables that she had found in a basket in a cupboard. When the kitchen was clean and tidy and everything in the right place, she went to look for the old lady. "I have finished," she said. The old lady looked around the kitchen without a word. Just love the colors in this book. Then the old lady led Shiraz out of the garden. Everything was neglected, so that means that it hasn't been touched. The grass was long, and the weeds and brambles had sprung up among the shrubs and the flowers. The soil was cracked and dry. The old lady gave Shiraz a pair of heavy shears. "I want you to cut down all the flowers and pull out their roots. Cut down the bushes, too. Destroy everything. I don't want anything left," she said as she turned around and trudged back into the house. Do you think that's what Shiraz will do? Shiraz looked at the sad garden. Then she set to work. She pruned and trimmed the plants, pulled out the weeds, and cut back the brambles. As she was working, she heard the faint sound of water trickling. She looked, and there between the bushes she found a rock that was damp with fresh water. There must be a hidden spring under this rock, she thought. If I can unblock the spring, it will water the garden. The rock was heavy, but Shiraz managed to roll it back. The water found its way to the bushes, and the flowers, and the grass, and the thirsty plants began to look green and fresh again. Shiraz called the old lady. "I've tidied the garden," she told her. The old lady looked at all the work Shiraz had done, but she did not say a word. Next, the old lady took Shiraz to her bedroom. "I have one more thing to ask before I give you back your ball of wool. Take these scissors and cut my hair. I don't need this long hair anymore." Shiraz looked at the old lady's wild hair. First she washed it. Now the old lady's hair hung gleaming and silver down her thin back. Then Shiraz found a brush. She braided the old lady's hair and pinned it up in a neat bun. Very nice job. Now the house was calm and clean, and the old lady looked much happier. "This is your wool," she told Shiraz. "Thank you for all you have done. On your way home, go through the back gate. You will find 2 pools. One has clear water and the other dark." Very important part to the story. "Go into the clear pool first, dive underwater 3 times, then bathe in the dark pool too. Dive 3 times and no more. Then you can go back home." Shiraz thanked the old lady, took the ball of wool from her, and went out through the back gate. Just as the old lady had said, she found 2 round pools. Shiraz plunged 3 times into the first pool and 3 times into the second pool. Then she went home. As she knocked on her own front door, Shiraz remembered that she had gone without telling anyone that she had not made dinner. "Oh no," she thought, "I'll be in such trouble." She started to tremble as she stood waiting for her stepmother to open the door. She knew that she would be severely punished. But it was Shiraz's stepsister, Monir, who came to the door. She smiled and asked Shiraz very politely, "How can I help you?" "I'm sorry it's so late," Shiraz began. "I beg your pardon. Who are you?" asked Monir. Shiraz was puzzled. "It's me, Shiraz. I'm so sorry I've been gone so long," she said. Monir laughed. "How can you be Shiraz?" she said. "You don't look like her at all. You're far too beautiful." "Please," begged Shiraz, "don't make fun of me. Just let me in. Your mother will be angry." Monir turned and shouted for her mother. Shiraz's stepmother came to the door. "What can I do for you?" she asked politely. "Please don't tease me anymore," Shiraz pleaded. "I'll explain everything. Please let me in." At last, Monir and her mother realized that the beautiful young woman really was Shiraz. They were full of questions. "Where have you been? How have you turned into such a beauty?" Shiraz told them everything. The next day, Shiraz's stepmother went to the market and came back with 2 bags full of wool. Shiraz showed her the old lady's garden. The stepmother began to throw the balls of wool wildly in all directions. One ball flew through an open window and into a bowl of porridge. Another fell into a game of soccer and was kicked high into a tree. Another knocked a passerby on the head. At last, One ball rolled into the old lady's garden. "There it is," she said excitedly to Munir. "Off you go," Shiraz's stepmother hissed at her daughter. "Do exactly what you're told and don't be lazy or rude. Remember to dive into the pools on your way home. I have a feeling that that's where the magic is." She hid behind a tree while Munir knocked at the door. "Come on, open the door, you old bag," muttered Munir. She knocked again. After a long time, a small window opened, and a pair of eyes stared out at her. "What do you want?" asked an old lady's voice. "My ball of wool has fallen into your garden, and I want it back," said Munir. "First, you must do a few things for me. Then I will give it to you," said the voice. "Fine, fine," agreed Munir impatiently. The door opened, and once more the old lady with wild and dirty long hair appeared. Munir pushed past her. "What do you want me to do?" she demanded. The old lady showed her into the kitchen and gave her a heavy hammer. "I want you to break all the dishes and the draining board and the sink. Break everything," the old lady said. Munir didn't waste a second. She grabbed the hammer and smashed all the plates and cups and all the pots and pans. When she had finished, she went to find the old lady. "I've done that job," she said. The old lady looked at the kitchen without saying a word. So did Munir do it differently than Shiraz? I think so. The old lady led Munir out into the garden. The bushes had grown wild again, and the flowers had wilted, and the shrubs were full of brambles. "I want you to cut down all the flowers and pull them out," the old lady said, and gave Munir a pair of heavy shears. "I don't want anything left to bloom," she added, as she walked away. Munir cut down everything. She hacked the flowers, the shrubs, and the 2 trees. Not a single plant was left standing. When the garden was completely destroyed, she went to find the old lady. "There, that's done too," Munir said. The old lady looked at the garden and she didn't say a word. The old lady took Munir into the bedroom. "There is one more thing I need to ask you before I give you back your ball of wool. Take these scissors and cut my hair." Munir cut the old lady's hair quickly and carelessly. When she had finished, she said impatiently, "Now, what about the pools?" The lady looked at her reflection in the mirror and saw how short her hair was and how badly cut. "Yes, indeed. Now you should go and find the pools. Go through the back gate. You'll find 2 round pools. One has clear water and one has dark. Swim in the dark pool first and dive under the waters 3 times. Then swim in the clear pool and do the same. 3 times, no more." The old lady reminded Munir. "Then you can go back home." Munir ran to the back gate. She forgot all about the ball of wool that the old lady had given back to her. She found the 2 round pools and jumped into the dark pool 3 times. Then she jumped into the pool with the clear water. She dived under the water not 3, but 10 times. "I'll stay in the water longer than Shiraz," she muttered. "That will make me much more beautiful than her." The sun was starting to set, and Munir was still in the water. Her skin was all wrinkled, and she began to shiver from the cold. At last, she pulled herself out and ran home. Munir knocked at her door. She thought about how beautiful she must look, how pleased her mother would be. But when her mother came to the door, she snarled, "We don't answer the door for beggars." And she slammed the door in Munir's face. Munir tried again. "Stop bothering me, you disgusting creature," her mother shouted this time. "Mother, it's me," sobbed Munir. At last, Munir's mother realized that this really was Munir standing at the door, even though she looked hideous. Her hair hung limply around her ears, and her eyes were mean and small, and her skin was gray and rough. "Tell me, you ungrateful witch," she screamed at Shiraz, "you came back from the old lady's house looking more beautiful than before. How is it that Munir's looks so different and so hideous?" I don't know." Shiraz was staring at her sister, shocked by what she saw. "Is there something you didn't tell us about your visit to the old lady?" shouted the mother. "I told you everything," Shiraz answered. "And you, Munir? Did you do exactly as you were told?" "Yes, mother, I did exactly what she asked. She told me to destroy the kitchen, and I destroyed it. She told me to destroy the garden, and I destroyed it. She asked me to cut her hair, and I cut it." The house fell silent. She's a cute little kitty. "I am sorry," whispered Shiraz. "Sorry about what?" snapped the stepmother. "I am sorry about Munir." "So what did you do differently?" the stepmother and Munir shouted at the same time. Shiraz remembered her afternoon with the old lady. She remembered how she had cleaned the kitchen and done the dishes, how she had made some soup. She remembered watering the garden and then braiding the old lady's silver hair. At last, Shiraz replied, "The old lady asked me to destroy everything too, but I didn't. I listened to her heart, and I did what I thought she wanted me to do." She listened to her heart instead of her voice. So sweet. Many years passed. Shiraz and Munir grew up. People found the hidden garden with its tangled bushes and overgrown trees. They found the 2 pools and tried swimming in them. And it was then that they discovered the old lady's secret magic. Both the dark pool and the clear pool have the same water. They don't change the people who dip into them. They just make them look the way they feel on the inside. And everyone remembered Shiraz too, the girl with the brave heart, who had listened and had understood that when people are sad, they do not always know how to ask for what they need. So what I really love about that story is that I think it's very true that some adults and even kids, when they're sad, they're grumpy, they don't always treat other people well, and they might not even know how to ask for what they need. But what we can kind of assume is that they are nice people and they're trying their best, and maybe we can just be kind to them, and we can't decide how they're going to feel, but all we can do is try our best to be kind and hope that things change around for them. My only criticism towards the book is that just because you're a grumpy or mean person doesn't mean you're ugly, and you could be not stereotypically pretty and still be kind and wonderful and beautiful. So that's the only thing. But, you know, that's kind of a fairy tale style of book. I am going to pause this for a moment and get the craft stuff ready. If you'd like to join for crafts, you are more than welcome to. And I would say that if you are under the age of 7, you probably need a parent to help you. If you're over the age of 7, you could probably do it by yourself. But I know there's all sorts of skill levels. So I'll let it be up to you and your family. Okay? So I'll see you in 2 minutes. Okay, bye.